This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
Free Palestine leads people to set other people on fire.
Child sex offender was previously deported that was released by a local agency, was back living across the street from a playground.
Well, I'm going to do a wedding today, and the Lord will be in it. He's taking care of us. He took care of us.
He always has.
Yep.
Always has.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. Bye-bye spring. We're going to tap 86 degrees by Wednesday. Your full forecast coming up in a few minutes. 8 people are recovering from burns after a man with a homemade flame torch went after a crowd at a pro-Israel rally in Colorado. It was caught on video.
We can't do nothing about that. We can't do it.
Witnesses are not okay.
All of a sudden, I heard a big boom. And people yelling and screaming. Going through my head is still trying to recover from what I just saw, trying to make sense of all of it. It's almost like being in a battle zone or in a war.
The suspect, Mohammed Solomon, charged moments ago with a federal hate crime. CBS reporter Matt Piper.
The FBI says the man told police he planned it for a year and would do it again. Mohammed Solomon told investigators that he targeted what he described as a Zionist group and that he researched on YouTube how to make Molotov cocktails.
Solomon is an Egyptian national acting alone who is in the U.S. illegally. Former politician Trey Gowdy.
Look, I'm all for free speech, but Free Palestine leads people to set other people on fire.
A biological boy has won 2 events at the California Girls Track and Field Championships. His name? A.B. Hernandez. He took second place in the long jump and first place in high jump and triple jump. Josh Fuller was in the stands.
It's not fair to these young ladies, and somebody has to be the adults in the room and speak up and stand up for them.
Republican Congressman Jason Chaffetz.
I'd love to have Governor Newsom and others that could answer this question. Why even have girls' sports? If you're going to allow males to participate in
the U.S. Department of Justice investigating because California is violating federal law. ICE has arrested nearly 1,500 people in Massachusetts. It is the largest sting in U.S. history. ICE Director Todd Lyons.
A child sex offender that was previously deported that was released by a local agency was back living across the street from a playground.
Lyons used the mic to put the smackdown on sanctuary cities who are re-releasing the criminals they capture.
Boston's my hometown, and it really shocks me that officials all over Massachusetts would rather release sex offenders, fentanyl dealers, drug dealers, human traffickers, and child rapists back into the neighborhoods.
The U.S. Supreme Court has just decided against weighing in on a case over assault weapons bans. CBS reporter Stacey Lynn.
The justices declined to decide whether Maryland's ban on semi-automatic rifles such as AR-15s violates the Second Amendment's right to bear arms.
The argument's being made that, frankly, AR-15s are totally outside the scope of the Second Amendment. They didn't exist.
But legal analyst Lori Levinson says we will continue to see this fight regarding the Constitution.
And to what extent jurisdictions can put bans on what they consider to be particularly dangerous weapons or large capacity magazines.
It was like something out of a Mission Impossible movie. Ukraine has taken out most of Russia's bombers. Former CIA Moscow station chief Dan Hoffman tells Fox News.
This is how you deliver peace through strength. It's an incredible intelligence failure on the part of the Russians that Ukraine was able to infiltrate over 100 drones smuggled in trucks 2,000 to 5,000 kilometers away from Kyiv and destroy reportedly 1/3 of Russia's bombers.
For more details, NBC's Keir Simmons.
The drones then hidden in makeshift wooden cabins mounted on cargo trucks, the roof opening remotely. And Ukraine says its operatives escaped Russia without capture.
News of the attack comes as Russian and Ukrainian officials meet for a second round of direct ceasefire talks today in Istanbul. The 2025 Atlantic hurricane season is officially underway. Mark Mayfield reports.
There are normally 14 named storms during the 6-month period that begins on June 1st, including 3 major hurricanes. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says it expects between 13 14 and 19 named storms this year, and that up to 10 of them could become hurricanes. It expects at least 3 of them to become major hurricanes, with winds topping 110 miles per hour. I'm Mark Mayfield.
And exercise could lower the chances of colon cancer and breast cancer returning. A new study found people who had recovered from colon cancer that developed a personal exercise program were 90% cancer-free after 8 years. Fox's Dr. Mark Siegel.
40% more likely you'll live 8 years or longer if you exercise rigorously as much as possible over those 3 years. So exercise for sure, and at the same time, diet. Same thing. You're less likely to have recurrences of cancer or to even get it.
Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, that Canadian wildfire smoke is back. Wine in New York grocery stores, and a wedding photographer in the Empire State in a lawsuit over her Christian beliefs. But first, summer arrives early. Your weather with Ken McKinley.
So we head through tonight, just a couple of clouds drifting through once in a while. Really not very many clouds at all. Generally clear skies for many areas most of the time overnight. And temperatures not as chilly as the past few nights have been. Many areas will still drop into the 40s, but some spots will stay at 50 or a bit above. The warming trend will continue for tomorrow. A good deal of sunshine likely as we head through the day. And all areas tomorrow will climb well into the 70s. Some areas will push up into the low 80s during the afternoon. Very pleasant to be outdoors. Clear skies again tomorrow night and more sunshine, breezy on Wednesday, and even warmer with all areas climbing into the 80s. Some spots reaching the upper 80s as we head through the afternoon hours on Wednesday.
Thank you, Ken. Check in the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. 70 today, 81 tomorrow, and 86 by Wednesday. It is 3 weeks early, but summer has officially arrived. Pools across the Empire State are getting ready for the warmer weather. Tonawanda recruiting lifeguards.
We're constantly recruiting and hiring lifeguards year-round, so that we're not in this position of are we going to open or aren't we going to open because of the lack of lifeguards. We have lifeguards.
Mark Campanella, superintendent of parks, told WBEN guarding pays well.
We pay above the standards. Entry-level lifeguard starts at $17.50 an hour, and we're just continuously recruiting lifeguards.
You might be swimming, though, under an air quality alert. Canadian wildfire smoke is directly above western New York and western Pennsylvania, but so far it's staying in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Meteorologists warn over the next couple of days it could dip lower.
We have seen some of these thicker plumes of that wildfire smoke drift into western Pennsylvania.
The air quality lower the next 4 days.
We are moving into the yellow today, that moderate range of air quality. So if you are especially sensitive to changes in air quality, you may want to limit your time outside and certainly those strenuous activities.
Donald Trump's education secretary is threatening to pull funding from New York over its Native American mascot ban. U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon says New York is discriminating against a school district that refuses to get rid of its Chiefs mascot on Long Island. She says the state allows mascots from other groups like the Dutchmen and Huguenots. You could see wine in New York grocery stores before the end of the year. Family Life's Mark Webster has more.
Yeah, the clock's ticking down the final days of the current legislative session. One of the items that could see a vote before lawmakers wrap it up could legalize wine sales by grocery stores in the Empire State. Liquor stores have lobbied hard against that for years, but there's a possible compromise in the works that would allow liquor stores to sell snacks, tobacco, and drink mixers. However, Democratic Senator Liz Krueger says that idea may have come too late to push the bill across the finish line. Mark Webster, Family Life News.
A wedding photographer has won a legal battle with the state of New York over her biblical beliefs when it comes to so-called same-sex weddings. New York threatened Emily Carpenter with jail time and stiff fines if she refused to photograph LGBTQ plus ceremonies.
Ultimately, one of the reasons I love photography, being able to create artwork that's consistent with my beliefs and my passions. And that's one of the reasons why I love weddings so much, because I am so passionate about them and the message that it is.
Late last month, a district court granted Emily Carpenter a limited injunction barring the state from forcing her to create messages inconsistent with her faith as her lawsuit against New York moves forward. Alliance Defending Freedom Senior Counsel Katie Anderson.
As a photographer, she celebrates weddings and she wants everything she does to celebrate her beliefs about marriage and about God. And the state of New York would require her to create messages that violate that core conviction.
The case has been in court since 2021. Next at 5, issues in education with Dr. Ralph Kerr and our own Bob Price. Today's topic, bullying. Let's listen in.
New CDC figures out show 1 in 5 high schoolers reported being bullied on school property in the past year. Nearly 1 in 10 have been in a fight. Some of those fights, unfortunately, involve weapons on school grounds. What can districts do better to guard against this sort of stuff?
Well, on the first issue of bullying, I always get concerned when people just throw that term around because they don't really know what it means. I've heard people say, well, I've been bullied, when what they really had happen is somebody said, I don't like you, and so they call that bullying. So I think that may be overplayed a little bit, but I really am concerned about the fighting and the threatened with weapons kind of stuff that may be going on in school. The problem with that is, though, that I think it's really a reflection in our society. I was absolutely shocked last week to learn that there was actually a fight at a kindergarten graduation in Arkansas. Wow. During the graduation, apparently parents somehow got into a fisticuff, and the children were shouting, please stop, stop. Wow. So if that's happening, then it shouldn't be a surprise that that behavior in our society is being reflected by students in schools.
Yeah, the fight at the kindergarten graduation, I thought that only happened at Little League games. I guess it's carrying over into the realm of education. Sad.
Yeah, that's a good example, though. The same thing happens for sure at Little League games and places like that.
When adults don't act like adults, it's hard to ask the kids to be responsible.
You can subscribe, listen to, and share Issues in Education and all of Family Life's original podcasts at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or at familylife.org.
Hi, I'm Rob West with today's Faith and Finance Minute. You know the saying, everybody complains about the weather, but nobody does anything about it? Well, the same can be said for the financial climate. You might face a financial blizzard, drought, or storm. You can either prepare or ignore the signs and hope for the best. Right now, many families are navigating higher prices on everyday essentials, slower economic growth, and uncertainty about what's ahead. It may not be easy, but it's not hopeless. So what can you do? Start by trimming your budget and spending wisely. Build up your emergency fund. Live within your means and stay flexible. Think of it as preparing for a storm, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. And remember, our hope isn't in the economy. It's in a faithful God who provides all that we need. We can help you learn to manage your money according to biblical principles when you download the free FaithFi app. You'll find it on our website at faithfi.com.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, what does it take to officiate a wedding? Why just a suit and a script in a folder? But can you still pull it off after a tornado comes through? That story after weather.
This is meteorologist Ken McKinley with our Family Life forecast as we head through this evening and tonight. Just a couple of clouds drifting through once in a while. Really not very many clouds at all. Generally clear skies for many areas most of the time overnight. And temperatures not as chilly as the past few nights have been. Many areas will still drop into the 40s, but some spots will stay at 50 or a bit above overnight tonight. The warming trend will continue for tomorrow. A good deal of sunshine likely as we head through the day tomorrow. And all areas tomorrow will climb well into the 70s. Some areas will push up into the low 80s during the afternoon. Very pleasant to be outdoors. Clear skies again tomorrow night and more sunshine, breezy on Wednesday, and even warmer with all areas climbing into the 80s, some spots reaching the upper 80s as we head through the afternoon hours on Wednesday.
Thank you, Ken. Finally, at 5, a miracle story out of Tennessee. Larry and Susan Hearn traveled to Sweetwater for their granddaughter's wedding this weekend when a tornado hit, rolling their RV over several times while they were inside.
It's okay. The Lord was with us. He was right there. He's in control.
Larry Hearn was there to officiate the wedding and says they got a miracle within a miracle.
I had a suit hanging in there, and I had my wedding ceremony in a folder in the camper. When I came out of the camper after all that, I looked down right there on the ground, lay my suit and the wedding binder.
No coincidence.
So I'm going to do a wedding today, kind of best I can, and the Lord will be happy with that. He'll be in it. He'll be in it. He's taking care of us. He took care of us. He really did.
He always has.
Yep.
Always has.
The wedding went on as scheduled Saturday night because of the arms of a protective God and a pastor with a heart of gratitude. And that's the world that we live in for Monday, June 2nd. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.